When our visas for Vietnam were delayed, Al and I opted to spend the enforced waiting time in Luang Pragang, our favorite place in Laos. We remembered the sprawl of the city between two rivers and the magnificently glittery brilliance of the golden temples of this once royal capital. These temples had classic Luang Prabang temple architecture, with the roofs sweeping low to the ground. What we didn't remember was the fast-paced traffic in the streets, which jams up quite easily in the narrow avenues. It is much easier to get around and park using popular motorbikes. Our friendly guest house was a building from the French administration era. The balcony of our room overlooked a tropical garden. In the corner of the garden was a small shrine. In this predominantly Buddhist country, most places had one of these house shrines in their yard. Right across the street was a big wat, or temple, so we had ringside seats for the daily early morning parade of monks out to collect their alms and the offerings that the people gave them each day. Another early morning event is the traditional street market. Always colorful, it provides locals with fresh foods daily, ducks on the hoof, or actually in a basket, or fat chickens, and the eggs. Eggs are sold individually or in groups of 10. Fish came from the river or from ponds, and some questionable winged creatures. There are fruits and vegetables, of course, and here's a convenience food: pre-sliced onions. All grades of rice are sold, as well as honey in jars and the honeycomb. There are some tourist goods to tempt. Never too young to shop, are we? Every Lao Buddhist male is expected to become a monk for a short period of his life, traditionally 3 months. These young monks are crossing the Khan River to another wat. The bridge is not as rickety as it looks. The Khan joins the Mekong River, which fronts much of Luang Pragang. And at the end of the day, cocktails in a small cafe overlooking the Mekong at sunset is a pleasure. Wat Giang Thong is one of Luang Prabang's most magnificent temples. The rear of the sim features an elegant tree-of-life design in mosaic tiles, while the inside is elaborately decorated with carvings and stenciled gold designs. These are carried over to the adjacent pavilions, one of which houses the impressive royal funeral carriage. The use of gold ornamentation continues today. This embroidery craftsman is putting gold beads and gold threads on a ceremonial scarf. Other fine examples of his work are for sale in the shop next door. Years ago, we visited a silver workshop and bought a very small silver bowl similar to this one. We were pleased to see that the shop is still in business, producing finely made silver items. Artistic wood carving continues to be a local skill as well. Nowadays, most of the carvings are made for tourists, but carvings are also much needed to keep the beautiful temples in prime condition. The gold leaf artisans also work hard to embellish these carvings. One morning, we boarded a ferry to cross the Mekong River. These ferries carry an amazing load of trucks and cars, lots of motorbikes, plus the walking passengers. The motorbikes are offloaded first. Small tractor-type trucks are used for the heavier loads. But traditionally, these ladies are carrying their market goods in big baskets slung over their shoulders. And how would you like your meat cut today, madame? Big chunks or little chunks? Maybe the meat was going into these big cooking pots nearby. This lady preferred freshly barbecued fish. It looked and smelled so good that we stopped to have some for our lunch. It was served with cucumbers and rice and was delicious. Walking through the village, we heard loud music and saw this balloon arch. It was a wedding reception, and we joined the line to congratulate the bride and groom. A long flight of stairs led to a wat high over the village, providing a hazy view of Luang Pragang on the other side of the Mekong. Alas, the wat was nearly in ruins, the facade all torn away, and only a very meager altar inside. Luang Pragang is a tourist destination. The main street abounds in souvenir shops with plenty of motorbikes. But alas, no elephants. Just outside of town, a big market has lots of dry goods, shoes and bags and bangles, and lovely arrays of the traditional tops and sarongs worn by most Lao women. We followed a young monk up steps to the top of Phu Si, a 100-meter hill right in the center of town. Great views of the city, and naturally another temple or two. Lots of Buddha images among the rocks, and statuary is in the gardens. My favorite was the reclining Tuesday Buddha. Makes one wonder about the other days. A tuk-tuk like this drove us out to a village that is known for its silk weaving. The whole process was on hand, from the raising of the silkworms, going on to the cocoon stage with delicate strands, soon to be the silk. The raw silk is dyed with natural ingredients for each color. Then the thread is wound on bobbins for the weavers. The weavers set up a steady rhythm with their looms and produced many gorgeous hand-woven pieces. A short walking distance away, in the same village, were women working to produce handmade paper. Mulberry bark is stripped and boiled, then pounded into fibrous pulp. The pulp is spread on trays to dry along with flower petals and leaves. It seems like no matter where you drive, no matter where you walk, in Luang Pragang, you will encounter yet another temple. Our guidebook lists a mere 44. They are all unique in some way or other, and are certainly a showcase for the Laotian traditional arts and architecture. The Royal Palace Museum grounds also feature the Royal Theatre. We purchased tickets for a dance presentation on our last night in Luang Pragang. A small orchestra of drums, gongs, stringed instruments, and gamelan provided the accompanying music for the dance groups. The main feature of the program was a selection from the Ramayana folkloric ballet tale. All the main characters, except the princess, wore masks. It was a good thing that there was a program in English, so we could follow the dance story as it went along. In the end, good triumphs over evil, the princess is saved, and all remains harmonious. Luang Pragang had given us a most harmonious stay in Laos.